I'm Dr. Andrew Hodges, forensic psychiatrist and profiler. I've been talking to you about the Natalee Holloway case in my previous presentations. Tonight I want to tell you about my recent trip to Aruba. Remember that I outlined my profile on the case, which you can read about on my website, thoughtprints.com. I update it regularly with blogs, and you will find the story there of my recent trip to Aruba, which I want to tell you about. Some people had said to me, well, if you know about this case, why don't you go? In fact, I was invited to go along on the search boat and to be with them for a while by Louis Schaefer, who was the benefactor and responsible for this search. So I went to Aruba, and I was on the boat. It's really quite a search. I learned a lot, and I want to tell you what I learned, which again you can see on my website, forensicthoughtprints.com. It's a very capable crew, and they believe the body is in the deep, as I do, as I explained in my book, which contains the profile Into the Deep. So let me tell you, while on the boat, the captain and Louis Schaefer were frustrated they hadn't had an adequate model of the cage. They had some descriptions of the missing cage they thought the body was in. So long story short, I visit fishermen's huts the next day, and lo and behold, the fisherman is there, the fisherman who spotted the break-in that morning, the first morning, May the 30th, 2005, and he described the break-in to me. He described the size of the cage that went missing. He was the first one to see it. He took me inside fishermen's huts, and I called out to the boat and told them they now had a model for them. They had the model built that night, and they dropped it in 100 feet of water within a day, and now they had an adequate sonar signature. I was glad I could be of help to them. I will never forget that Louis Schaefer and I, the first night, along with Tim Miller of Texas Equisearch, were standing at fishermen's huts looking out when Dave Holloway called. And he asked me, did my take on it, had my take on Aruba changed in any way? And I said no, but I could really see it firsthand, and I learned a lot. So what's interesting to me is the break-in, the way it occurred, fishermen's huts. There were 4 cabins, small units within this particular hut. The first cabin they broke into, they took nothing. It was a break-in, took nothing. There were valuable items, a stove and so forth in there. They didn't take that. The second cabin they broke in, they couldn't get in it. Third cabin they broke in, there it was, missing a knife, a brand new knife. The fourth cabin they didn't break into, so they needed a knife to go with the missing cage. While I was there, there was a boat launch from next to fishermen's huts. This is the perfect place to load the body. This is where Yaron claims to have been with Natalee on the beach. Next to it is the marina, and you can see the marina not far away where his friends had a boat moored. So it made perfect sense. He had good connections to his boat, to fishermen's huts. It has some bushes around it, so it's kind of an obscure area. So it's a perfect place, in a way, certainly for a boat launch. At the same time, they would not have kept the body there overnight because there's too much activity next to fishermen's huts. So it taught me this was exactly the place that fit with the profile and that they took off from. What else I learned was not only the feasibility and how well the crime scene fit with the profile, but I learned that a new understanding of Lighthouse, in that they validated it another way. They had taken off from a little house, because Deepak kept emphasizing in his email, which we've been over, lighthouse, lighthouse, lighthouse. They didn't take her to the lighthouse. The lighthouse didn't figure in the search, really. But what he was trying to tell you is the takeoff point from the little house, the lighthouse, and he was also emphasizing that Natalee is in now a lighthouse, a cage in the ocean, which he matches up with the word crack house and other cage references which we have been over. So that took on a new meaning, particularly as the fisherman described this very light cage. And as I went in his small house, I had a new understanding of lighthouse. The other thing that happened to me is I visited the Holiday Inn where supposedly the initial story was that they dropped Natalee off. You can see pictures on my website, forensicthoughtprints.com. I walked the path. You can see the lobby driveway. It is 9 steps across from the left lane where they would have dropped her off. And you can see that as on my website, that it really, she was going to be kidnapped in this incredibly large lobby with this short driveway with a huge entranceway into the lobby of the hotel. He was trying to tell us something else with his reference to lobby, but which I've gone through in my previous profile, but you can see the absurdity of his first story about the light dropping her off at the Holiday Inn, and now it shows you the same unbelievability that they left Natalee on the beach. In this semi-obscure part of the beach, she never would have stayed there alone by herself.